Tom.
Hey.
Hey, so this morning we talked to one of our clients a little bit about tracking. So
There's an ongoing debate between
was it
us,
not,
isn't it? Yeah.
well, it's not really a debate. We both agree and disagree on a few things with it. But
Yeah.
it's interesting because for a lot of people, like what we've been doing at Big Five for years is follow the precision nutrition style of hand measurements for our nutrition, so no one needs to count anything. But we've also now gone a little bit into the tracking for certain people, and it obviously works. Tracking works if you do it correctly.
Sure.
So,
Should we give it a chat a little bit about what tracking is versus?
oh yeah, of course.
So essentially, when we say tracking, what we're talking about is calorie counting. So it's using an app, weighing all your food. We're trying to work towards a daily calorie count. And if we delve a little bit deeper, also trying to break up the macro breakdown within that calorie count as well.
Yeah.
So making sure that you're getting good quantities of protein, but also adequate levels of fat and carbs as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So the reason we went not against that when we created our nutrition plan, it's not really against it. It's still sort of measuring your calories, but in just a non-weighing
Yeah,
way.
absolutely.
Like
Less obsessive
less
kind of way.
obsessive, but
Yep.
it doesn't have to be obsessive either. The tracking can be really good. And we both agree that if everyone tracks at least one time, not one day, but like for a period of time, then they have a little bit more understanding of how much they can eat.
Yeah. I mean, I
Although
think
that sort
a
of works with the hand measurements as well,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's not as accurate, right?
It's not as accurate. It's perhaps not as. It's quite clear cut when
Yeah.
you're calorie counting. So, for a lot of the guys, I tried to get them to do almost a test week before they started.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people were surprised by things that they were doing in normal day life that were perhaps adding to their calories that they perhaps weren't really considering.
Yeah.
So we had. I won't name names, but there was someone who was having up to 4 lattes a day.
Yeah.
And then when you have 4 lattes, this person, potentially a couple of those times might be having, a biscuit or some
Yeah.
form of pastry with
But also,
that.
even with the lattes, how many calories would you say in a latte?
Yeah, it's
Say,
160, something like that,
So if
give
you
or
get a
take.
large latte,
Yeah,
it's
and
probably
if it's a large one, it's probably close to 200.
full milk, and so it adds up. So calories always counts, even though we're not always counting them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so what we had this morning is we did our we call it the Octo Shred. You
Yeah,
call it.
it's a terrible
It's a
name.
terrible name.
Yeah.
But it was for our transformation crew, and a lot of them opted to do the tracking.
Yeah, you had the option of doing either the precision nutrition method or otherwise counting.
Yeah,
tracking.
so we did that, and you had some really good results. So
Awesome results,
The key to do counting calories or macros is that you do it accurately, right? Because a lot of people will think they do it right,
Yeah.
but
You've got to weigh everything, you've got
weigh
to
it.
measure everything. Yeah.
Because otherwise there's no point. Otherwise
No.
you might as well go with the hand measurements, which is less accurate.
Yep.
For a lot of the time, it just works for people to be a little bit mindful of, oh, can I eat that much?
Yep.
If it's the right kind of foods, right?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
we're talking about calorie-dense food. Obviously, you can eat a lot more broccoli than you can hot chips, right?
Yeah.
In terms of calories.
Yeah, sure.
But you could also lose weight on eating hot chips only if you ate.
If you ate very small
Small
amounts, yeah,
amounts.
exactly.
But that's why you track.
Yeah.
So if you do track, you can actually have the chips in your daily.
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons why I love tracking is that you can turn around and go, okay, well, I know that on Saturday or Sunday I'm going to allow myself to have 5 glasses of wine across the 2 days or whatever, or both days, if you like. One of the benefits of you being able to track is that you can actually sort of bank calories, knowing in time that you're perhaps going to have a bit of a blowout day. So, if you've got a social occasion or something like that where you know that there's going to be a few drinks involved, well, you can allow for that and then track at a lower calorie count, potentially leading up to that. So that way your weekly total is just the same, which is a great benefit, I think, for tracking. I suppose one of the issues is with tracking is that because it's so transparent in terms of what you're doing, that it can become a little obsessive for some people, not everyone. And I certainly don't think that you should track all year round.
Yeah.
I think that's not necessarily a healthy way of going about it. It's
I think
more.
it's good to do it, to learn and find
Yep.
out. Like, to go back a little bit on the whole drink. So a lot of the time people don't count their drinks. It's
No,
like,
yeah, that's true.
so you
Yeah.
have your daily intake and then plus that, which is why we say maybe, pardon me, maybe eat a little bit less during the week leading up to
Yeah.
something. If you're going to have a weekend away or something, maybe you'll eat a little bit less, because otherwise you'll just go, "Oh, it's all or nothing," right? So you go your normal diet and then all of a sudden you're up. And that's when people end up, in 12 months' time. It's just
Yeah.
a little bit every week, but 12 months' time you might have gained 6 kilos. And
Yeah,
you're like, "Oh, I'm
absolutely. It's
getting-"
easy
so,
to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think, obsessiveness, it's obviously not good. It's good to find out where you're at the moment and how much you could eat, because a lot of people probably don't eat enough, but then on the weekend they eat
Too much.
and it's
Yeah.
just, or drinks or whatever,
Yeah.
which is,
Sort of empty calories
yeah.
as well.
And so
Yeah.
what we're trying to say is fine to have those drinks, but maybe then you have to cut down on something else, right?
Yep.
I wouldn't necessarily replace real food with alcohol all the time. It's probably not
No,
the best.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it goes back to that thing of having everything in moderation and being balanced.
Yeah.
So, it's an obvious thing to say, but with calorie counting, I feel like there's a quantifiable
Yeah.
meaning to that, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. And so in terms of that side of things, I think that's a real positive.
And I think, obviously, if you do it, and if it's like, it can work both ways. Obviously, now we're talking mainly about fat loss, right? So, to summarize, you need to measure and weigh everything, right? You need to do it properly, because a lot of
Yep.
a lot of people that we've talked to before, they might use then MyFitnessPal, for example, as a tracking
Yep.
app, but just put in whatever first comes up when you search for something, and
Sure.
then all of a sudden it's like, well, didn't realize that that was like a whole broccoli head, or possibly a whole eye fillet,
Well, like
right?
anything else, you get a bit lazy in terms of how you track.
Yeah.
You just want to do whatever's easiest. And
So-
the trick is that you really have to
Yeah.
weigh and measure everything.
If
Yeah.
you are going to track, which can be a good idea for a little time, or for,
Yeah.
you have to do it properly, otherwise there's no point.
Yeah.
Otherwise you might as well do that, just eyeballing plates
Yeah.
and see if this is okay, right?
I think the other thing to think about or consider when tracking is that it's a tool, so it's not a way of life.
Yeah.
That's the way that I prefer to use it. So, there'd be certain times of the year where I might feel that I need to lose a little bit of weight, or I need to gain a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
And so I'll use it as a tool for a short period of time in order to achieve my goals.
Yeah.
But I don't want to live my life tracking.
Yeah.
That's not I just don't think it's a positive association in terms of with food, etc. Things
Yeah,
like that
yeah.
as a result. So,
And we possibly should touch on exercise and calories as well, right? So, because
Yep.
a lot of people use the gym thinking that that's going to counteract
yeah,
to
use it
what
as
they
an
eat.
energy dump.
Yeah, which
yep.
is, which, yes, it is. However, it's more important probably what you do outside of the gym. The gym is just made to improve you in any, like,
Yeah.
if it's being stronger, improved cardiovascular
More
capacity,
powerful, more agile.
powerful,
Yep.
and functioning better in life. Because if you don't train,
Yep.
you can't be fully fit and healthy, right? You can
Yeah,
be
absolutely.
healthy, but you can't be fit.
Yep.
So
Well,
you-
I think so. The science will say that the energy that you expend in the gym, if you're coming say 4 to 5 times a week, is no more than say 10, maybe 15% of your daily energy expenditure.
Yeah.
Whereas
You'll burn
so-
more walking around.
Yeah, exactly.
you know,
So,
yeah.
yeah, if you're punishing yourself for poor nutritional choices by coming to the gym, you're really doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah.
If you focus more on getting the most out of your gym session in terms of performance,
Yeah.
and then also obviously give a lot of attention to what you're doing nutritionally, you're going to get far better results in the long run than necessarily just using the gym as that energy dump that I mentioned before.
Yeah. So if you track, if you go down the path of tracking, which obviously we can help with if anyone's keen, but if you go down that path and use MyFitnessPal, for example, should you make sure you don't use MyFitnessPal calories that they give you?
Nah.
Yeah.
Yep. And certainly not
Talk
the
to-
macro countdown.
Yeah, talk to someone who knows.
Yep.
Us, maybe.
Yep.
Talk to someone who knows how to measure what you should be eating. But also don't, I would say, and I don't know your opinion, but I would say don't put your exercise in there as a
No, I certainly
because
don't.
then they give you more and
Yeah, don't track your exercise
just
calories.
do that
within it.
as a
purely just for nutrition.
exactly
Yeah.
All right, well, hopefully people can now make a decision. Do they need to track? And if you're happy where you are, you probably don't, you shouldn't track. Right?
Yeah.
They probably shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
And then tracking is also no exact science because we can give a number, but it might not be totally right. So if you gain, then you have to drop it. If you lose, then you're on the. If that's what you
Absolutely,
want
you
to
got to keep analysing it.
Yeah,
you
keep
know, and
analysing.
your metabolism is going to be different to my metabolism, etc.
And metabolism changes as well.
Yeah.
Whilst if you lose a lot of weight, it doesn't matter if it's fat. Your metabolism is going to slow down.
Yeah.
Or not slow down, but you're gonna burn less energy by just sitting there. For example, now you're 10 kilos heavier than you were a while ago. You're burning more calories by just sitting there, right?
Yeah.
Which means you can eat more, but that's there's a limit to where that.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables in these
Yeah,
things.
that's right.
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully that was good for some people.
Yeah.
And, get some good info.
Yeah, too easy.
All right,
Cheers.
Cheers.